Hello there, welcome to Encore, the arts and culture show on France 24. Coming up, tackling taboos. We meet the people behind Egyptian movie Family Secrets. It's the country's first ever film to feature a gay lead character. Wall-to-wall art in Paris. Carpets, rugs and tapestries are looming large at an exhibition dedicated to all things woven. We'll take you on a guided tour. And paper pirouettes, pliés and port de bras. French artist JR has been pasting his vision of dance all over the New York City Ballet Company. All that still to come. But first, New York's fashionistas are braving the cold as Fashion Week gets underway. Before any bodies even hit the runways, though, the stars were out for the traditional glitzy kickoff that is the Amphar AIDS Foundation's fundraising gala. Designer Kenneth Cole is chairman of the charity's board, and he's explained why he thinks the fashion world should get on board with the fight against AIDS and HIV.
Fashion is about of the moment and what matters and what's relevant and what's on our minds, not just what's on our bodies. And that's what tonight's all about. And we are still globally consumed with public health and wellness of each other. And AIDS has always been something very personal to the fashion industry. And tonight's a way that we celebrate that.
Well, on to news now of a genuinely groundbreaking film. In Egypt, being gay is still a major taboo. That's why the country's first ever movie to tackle the subject of homosexuality has had an interesting journey to the big screen. Our correspondents Catherine Stapley and Pierrick Laurent went to meet the star and director of Family Secrets.
أنا عايز إجابة واحدة بس. أنا اتخلقت كده وهفضل كده طول عمري خلاص. ولا أنا ممكن أتغير.
17-year-old Marwan struggles to come to terms with his sexuality in a society that won't accept him as gay. He goes to see a string of psychologists asking for help. 15 actors turned down the lead role, afraid not only of being typecast, but of a backlash from their families. Mohammed Mahran agreed to take it on, his first full-length feature film.
You know, this impression about the gay in Egypt or in the Middle East. So I was a little afraid about that, but when I read the script, it's so good.
Even though there are no explicit sex scenes, the Egyptian censors objected to several others and wanted them deleted. The film's director successfully appealed that decision.
The committee reduced the changes from 13 to 2. They were just small changes that didn't affect the film much, so it was possible to do it without disfiguring it.
In perhaps the most risque scene in the film, we see Marwan in bed with his English tutor lover.
أنت سمعت عن دكتور اسمه أمجد وهبي؟
ده بيقولوا عليه متخصص في الموضوع بتاعنا. كلام فكسان يعني.
إزاي؟
ما أعرفش بالظبط إزاي. كان في حد كنت أعرفه من فترة. كان راح عنده. من ساعتها ما أعرفش حاجة عنه. تلاقيه انتحر.
It's a very heavy and difficult movie to comprehend. It's the first time I've seen this idea being presented like that.
The film was amazing, very real and very true to life, very respectful and scientific. I was crying all the way through the film. It affected me so much.
Gay activists say it portrays being gay as a disease, while others argue it promotes homosexuality. The writer was inspired by true events. He says it's a human story aimed at opening debate.
I think we're not going to be a healthy society if we stop denying the existence of the problems or the existence of things we reject. And I hope that after Family Secrets we see other movies that breach other taboos as well and change our way of thinking.
The controversy looks set to continue, with the film now being shown in more than 20 cinemas across Egypt.
Well, here in Paris, a French filmmaker is hoping to force cinemagoers to take notice of some of the city's forgotten residents. It's estimated 6,000 homeless people. The title, Au bord du monde, translates as On the Edge of the World, which is how many of those featured in the film say they feel about their lives. Claire Williams reports.
At night, in midwinter, the streets of Paris appear deserted. But tucked beneath well-known monuments, on the Champs-Élysées Avenue, In tunnels and quiet streets, the homeless settle in for the night, with the city of light as their backdrop.
Tu sais, à la fin, c'est devenu un train de vie, quoi. C'est que tu sais même plus si c'est dur ou facile.
Ça fait 7 ans maintenant, finalement, que je passe l'hiver dehors. Moi, je pensais qu'on n'y survivait pas. Je me suis surprise en me réveillant.
Over the course of a year, director Klaus Drexel met with Paris's homeless population.
It was a lot easier than I'd thought. At first I thought many would refuse to take part. In the end it was amazing the number of people who said, "You don't realise how long no one has listened to me." I think it was touching for them to be listened to over a long period of time.
The film offers a rare glimpse into their lives. For some, being homeless amounts to being invisible.
J'ai vu deux hommes de forte corpulence en costume cravate qui passaient. Et il y en a un qui disait à l'autre je leur donne rien parce qu'ils ne nous servent plus à rien.
Je ne sais pas, moi, comment lancer un appel au secours. Je ne sais pas faire.
It's a film that conceals little of the harsh realities of living on the streets. The director hopes those who head to the cinema to watch Au bord du monde will leave with more respect and compassion for homeless people.
Well, let's stay in Paris now and take you to an art exhibition that's unravelling received ideas about tapestries and carpets. It's on at the city's Modern Art Museum. The team and I have been along to explore. We're used to thinking about art as something that hangs on the walls, but here at Paris's Modern Art Museum, the stars of the show are something that more normally go underneath our feet. We're talking about the humble carpet. This art form originated 2,000 to 3,000 years ago in the Middle East, but until around 200 years ago, most artists preferred the canvas or sculpture. By the early 20th century, the European avant-garde had woven itself a firm niche in the art of tapestry and carpet making. Louise Bourgeois, Francis Bacon, Victor Vasarely, Le Corbusier, and Pablo Picasso. Hi there, Andra Sen, curator of this exhibition. Very nice to meet you. Now, tell us, a lot of people don't tend to think of carpets as being art. How does this exhibition counter that idea?
In a lot of visitors' mind, carpets and tapestries are not art per se, but more a minor object because of its decorativeness, its functionality also. But I think it's because of those characters that some artists were throughout the 20th century interested in exploring them and making some.
Visual references to the traditions and styles of Persia, North Africa and Latin America are highlighted here. More recent works also moved into the realm of political messages, emerging feminism of the 1960s, and a resurgence of interest at the turn of the millennium. Now, this piece by the Californian artist Pei White is very interesting, made with the help of digital technology. We do tend to think of weaving as being such an established technique, don't we? But clearly it's still evolving.
You're right. Actually, this piece is based on a digital image, a photography taken by Pei White of this smoke effect. And it was woven by this computer-generated loom. So it's one of the few pieces in the show which were not handmade, but it was important for me to gather them together. So. To show the wide range of possibilities as an artist to do woven pieces.
The past 5 decades have also brought an increasing number of woven sculptures, some on a monumental scale.
There are tapestries I'd like to have at home, and others not so much.
When I look at this and I see the designs and the colours, they're very good. And then I get closer and closer, and it gets more and more subtle, and to a point of complexity, which is remarkable. And you're there and you wonder, how on earth did they do this?
It's very surprising. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it so much, because tapestry is not a technique I'm very interested in or that moves me much. But right now, I'm really dazzled.
The pieces here are on a mission to prove that this is one art form that won't be swept under the rug. Well, let's go from weaving carpets to cutting some rug. We're going to round off our show with some monumental art at the New York City Ballet. The French street artist JR has teamed up with the company to create a huge photomontage of more than 80 of their dancers. It's the second in a series of commissions by contemporary artists, and if you're in New York, you can take a look in person, free of charge, until Sunday evening. Otherwise, they're on show for performance ticket holders only until March the 2nd. That is it, though, for today's Encore. Until next time, you can keep up with all of our news on our social networks and with me at A Cat in Paris. See you soon. Bye for now.
I didn't came in the shooting knowing I would do clouds. It came because of the paper and the fact that the dancers were completely distant from their ego. It doesn't matter if you don't see me, it doesn't matter if I'm upside down. The skills of dance help the artworks become such another piece. It will definitely change the whole shape of the New York City Ballet for that time. 1, 2, 3, go.